Greetings. I'm going to demonstrate how you can remove obscuring structures in a photogrammetry dense point cloud to reveal features that might not normally be visible. So what you're seeing on the screen is about 3.5 acres. It is of McNutt Quad on the Indiana University Bloomington campus. This particular mosaic was produced from just over 300 photos taken by a drone. For most of the coverage, the drone was flying about 100 feet off the ground. There are 6 targets or labeled targets. These are places where there are markers that can be seen from the drone, and their location is known precisely, and they're used to correct the position and elevation depiction of the photos and the other products from the photogrammetry software. So the purpose of this flight was to capture some construction, and I'll zoom in a bit. And there have been utilities construction taking place, and you can see, if I scroll down here, that there's some pipe. Pipe includes new pipe being installed towards the building, and then there's a ditch that was dug up to place a new steam pipe along the front of the building. Now, if you look right here, it'd be nice to have the detail of this pipe as it goes under this covered sidewalk. So this covered sidewalk is kind of obscuring some important components that we'd like to be able to capture and document. So what I did, and I'll show you in the point cloud model, oops, go here. So before we were looking at a mosaic photograph, this is actually a 3D point cloud. And we'll zoom in to the same area. Okay, so this is the covered area. We'd like to see these pipes right here that are underneath it. So if I rotate this around, you can see that the detail is actually in the data of what's underneath this covered sidewalk. And the reason it's in the data is because I flew the drone in front of this covering and pointed the camera at an angle, and actually flew the drone a little bit underneath the covering and got photos of the pipe from underneath the covered walkway. And I took enough photos of the surrounding area that the photogrammetry software could figure out how to place all those correctly so that it have an accurate 3D model. So the data's there. I just need to remove the covered sidewalk so that you can see it in the photo mosaic. So what I can do is I'll turn the cameras, the depiction of where the photos were taken off. Make it a little bit cleaner. And I'm going to stick this so it's easy for me to select the stuff that's covering the picture. So I'll go in here and I'm going to select some of the points. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I've selected, among other things, the surface of the sidewalk shelter, and I am going to delete those points. Let's see here. I'm going to delete the section. Now that I've deleted that, So look, it's not there, and I can see it's directly down into the pipe. So I removed what obscured the pipe, and now I can see what's there. Now I need to do a few more steps to render an accurate orthomosaic and a digital elevation model. So one of the things I need to do is I need to create a new digital elevation model. This is an artifact that indicates the elevation of the ground or whatever is the surface closest to the ground. And now that I've removed this cover, I need to recompute that so that it will use the imagery of the ditch and the pipe in computing sort of the ground surface. So I'll go up here into workflow, and I'll say build the digital elevation model. And so this is going to take a while. So I'm going to pause this and return once this is made and show you the next step.
Okay, so we have recalculated the digital elevation model with the obscuring part of the sidewalk covering removed. I also regenerated the mosaic, but I have one more step to do. So if I go over to the mosaic, as you see, it still shows the covering structure here. Interestingly enough, because the digital elevation model now reflects the ground and not the top of the structure, you can see that the way it's taken the photos from above and reference them to the ground, it no longer has a nice continuous structure. So you can see this is distorted. And what we want to tell it to do is to use some different photos for this part of the image. And we can go in here. So I've drawn a polygon. This is red line is a polygon around an area where we want to tell it to use different photos. So in assigning images, what we can do is we can pick, we're going to allow multiple selections, and we're going to exclude certain images. So we're going to exclude that one. We're going to exclude images that include the covering part of the structure. So we'll go through here. See, these all include what's below it. There's one that we need to exclude. Another one that we need to exclude. Oops, another one that we need to exclude. There's another one. That one we need to exclude. Oops, that one we need to exclude. That one we need to exclude. That one. Okay, that one. Again, I'm excluding pictures that include the sort of the roof that goes over the sidewalk. There's another one that we need to exclude. Another one. Oops. Another one. Definitely want to exclude that one. I need to exclude that one. Need to exclude that one. 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 Yeah, kind of hard to tell. I'm going to go ahead and exclude that one. That one, definitely. that one, that one, that one, that one, exclude that one, that one. I think we're getting near the end here. Exclude that one, that one, that one. Oops. Yeah, we want to exclude that one. Okay. So okay, say okay to that, and then we have to refresh, update the orthomosaic. And it's going to replace the photos it uses to depict this section of the photo. Okay, so we're almost right. Looks like we picked a couple that weren't correct. So let's go and say, we'll say filter by, let's see which photos. So we can see that one. Okay, assign images. Multiple selection. I'm going to go ahead and take the reverse approach and say which ones to include rather than which ones to exclude. So that one's a good one to include. That one. The more you can include, the greater fidelity in the rendering of the orthomosaic. Okay, so we'll go and refresh this. And voila, we can now see what was underneath that section of covered sidewalk. And it's accurately depicted the pipes. They're where they should be. So we've essentially removed the structure that was obscuring it. So that's what we're aiming for.